All right, that was the trailer, and you guys you guys watched the movie earlier. Um, yeah, that was a lot of fun, and so I will be bringing in John shortly. I hope you guys enjoyed what you watched. I think I saw Andrew predicting that John was going to pick up the 57 Clemente, but was unfortunately we were scouring it. I think he was on the verge of buying it, but let's bring him in now. The famous collector now, Mr. John. G.
What's up, Sammy?
What's up? I see you made it safely back home,
Yeah, I wanted
and
to show everybody my best pickup.
everybody's excited, man. What a movie! Yeah, Mookie's all about it. Yeah, so I will say this much that the film only captured so much because John and I did separate at times, and he did make a number of other purchases. I don't know if you want to save that for your own channel when it comes to it, but
Nah,
um,
show them on here. Yeah, we
yeah,
only walked around. You only filmed for off and on for like maybe a half an hour.
yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, when we were there all day, we were separated a lot. I kept wandering off.
Yeah, I did record some of the conversation you had with the Golden guys, but at that point I was like, okay, John's stuck here for at least a good 20 minutes, so I'm just gonna go and continue moving around to see what I can find. But
Yeah, I got to talk to a lot of people. It was nice.
yeah, man, and you had some people come up to you. Mookie was who was it? No, Orlando was thinking that like John's a nobody in the East Coast National. I'm like, no, you couldn't be more wrong, man. He had people coming up to you as well. So, uh, if there are any questions at all regarding the film,
All right, I'm done screwing around.
I'm happy to answer. And I think doing a movie on Petty would be pretty awesome. Maybe at Strongsville, I'll do my sequel.
That would be way better.
Oh, that'd be epic. But let's see. Orlando is going to be in the sequel. If Orlando wants to be, I'm sure. I mean, that'd be like the odd couple, Orlando and Petty together.
Yeah, Sammy, come down to let's go down to Florida, meet up with Orlando.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rick, why didn't you buy the speaker?
Rick, and you'll appreciate this. I've been watching a Ty Cobb from that set, but that's a multi-year set after their playing days. So, man, I have a lot of speakers. I was thinking about it. It's a great set. It's a rare set.
But just I guess because the price that they were asking was 750, and then they
Yeah,
said that the last one sold for like 875.
yeah, it was probably a fair price. Like I said on there, if they came down to six, I would have probably bought it.
Yeah, I guess they just couldn't do that. But that's the one thing. That's one thing I'll mention is that it's the one big takeaway that I got from from this video was John's smoothness and casualness with the dealers, and I think that can it's I think with some people they're afraid of being able to have that conversation, about a particular card. I know that you're sometimes you'll pay sticker price and sometimes you may ask, but the one thing is that you have a very good demeanor with the dealers that you come in contact with.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate dealers. If it wasn't for dealers, I couldn't buy cards. And I certainly want to support them and let them make a buck. I'm not always trying to get them down. I only paid sticker for one. That's the one. They wouldn't budge on it. It's a beauty. I thought that was a great price for it. The other ones, all the other ones, I didn't pay sticker. You didn't capture that in there. Um,
No, I know you picked up some other ones, which we're going to show shortly. But Mookie's
yeah,
asked,
that's Hugh Duffy too. He knocked
yeah,
money off of that. It just had that sticker on it.
right. What was your overall impression of the East Coast National as a show?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a good mix of modern and vintage, like everything. I thought it was a really good mix, and I thought the vintage was phenomenal. Like I saw cards there I don't remember seeing at the National. Now maybe I'm not saying they weren't there. Maybe I just didn't stumble on them. But
Mhm.
there was a huge selection of great vintage stuff and stuff you don't see all the time. I was really, really happy with that show.
Yeah, that's the thing is that they're aside from the like the dealers that we see commonly, like Ash and Stan, and there's a number of other ones, but they're like the one you bought for the Hank Greenberg card. I know I've seen him before at other shows, but I think he's mostly, if I remember, is mostly like an East Coast person.
Yeah, as I mentioned
So
on
that's
there,
the
I
one.
know I bought from him in the past because when he gave me his business card, I recognized it, and
Gotcha.
I'm sure I bought from eBay on from him on eBay before, but he
Hmm.
says he's no longer on there, but he was, and I'm sure I bought from him because I recognized that card right away. That's why I thought he might recognize my name having bought from him, but I don't know if I bought a lot from him or a little. I just recognized the card because a lot of those guys will put their card in with the packages when I get them. Unless there's just other people that have the same design, but I definitely recognize that card.
Let's see. Andrew's asking what were some of the other cards you looked at, not featured in the movie. Probably wrestling and vintage basketball, right?
I
As we
looked at
did, we
so
did look at some
much.
wrestling. We
We
looked at
did
some
look at
wrestling.
wrestling cards.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah, we did look at
Yeah.
wrestling cards. I saw the Hulk Hogan I already have, and they had some of those. What are they? All Stars with the banner at the top. There were a bunch of those. There was a little bit of everything. There was one dealer. He had the largest selection of Pele I've ever seen. And there was
That
a
was
dealer
Alex.
that had the largest selection of Jesse Owens I've ever seen. I never even saw most of those cards. I mean, just an insane selection.
That's a good
Eh,
example of a dealer that you probably won't see at the. I don't think he didn't set up at the National. I've only ever seen him at the Philly show and now at the East Coast National. I don't know if he sets up in Chantilly. He might, but I think he's primarily again East Coast. So that's the beauty of these
Yeah.
shows.
Well, heck, if you live in New York, I mean, there's enough of a population there. You don't probably have to travel elsewhere to sell your cards.
Right.
The only criticism I have of the whole event really is that I didn't know there was a downstairs. And if I was
Yeah.
one of those dealers, I would have been upset because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even have known it existed and I would have never gone down there. And when I did go down there at the very end, I did buy some cards. That's
Yeah.
the only knock I have on it. If I was a dealer, I'd be upset that they didn't have a big sign saying that there were more dealers down there because you had to go out of the show. You had to know where you were going basically to know it was there.
Yeah. No, it's true. They didn't.
And there wasn't a lot of traffic down there either.
No, the last year they made constant announcements, but I don't recall them doing it this year.
I
I
didn't
just
hear anything. But I mean, you could put up a big, sign.
any 19th century cards at the show. I,
Yes.
yeah, I did see some.
Yeah, I didn't see. So I didn't see a lot of Goldwyn champions or even Allen and Ginter. Um, well, what I saw the good one, like the faded ones, not the black. What are the black? Oh shoot.
Not the old. What do they call the old?
I'll show you what I saw.
Okay. These guys are going. Oh, Orlando
I
mentioned.
saw a lot of these cards here.
Give me there. Let me bring you in.
And I'm very picky about these cards. These things fade so badly.
Hmm.
So I just don't shop for them a lot. I certainly won't pay up for them unless the image is really nice. I didn't see a lot of these cards or the Allen and Ginters, actually. But there were a lot of these. And the ones I saw, they were badly faded.
I think there was a table that there's a guy that he sets up a Philly, sets up I think he was at the National too. America's Pastime. He has a shop in New Jersey, and he had a lot. I think he had a lot of some 19th century stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mayo. That's what Orlando's.
Oh, thank you, Mayo. Thank you. I'm drawing a blank. Uh, there were so many great cards there. There were so many that I wanted. I was being very picky because honestly, when I went in, I really didn't carry any cash. You heard me ask if somebody
Yeah,
took a card or PayPal or something. That's the way I was looking. So I didn't have any cash when we first went in. I didn't realize we had to buy tickets, and I just had a little bit of cash on me, and I spent it on our tickets.
I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah, so when I stumbled on that Greenberg and he only took cash, so I didn't think I could get enough out of the ATM, but that ATM gave you a lot of money and it was it was a small fee. It wasn't a one of those deals where you have to go get 100 at a time for a $12 fee each time.
Oh
It was
God.
a very fair ATM, which is unusual at these shows. So that's another good thing about the show. So I was able to get plenty of money out, as much as I needed. And so I went back and paid him cash for that. But I did not have that money when I arrived. I wasn't sure I was going to buy anything. And I just didn't carry a lot of cash. I was traveling and I just don't carry cash. So anyway, it worked out for me. And I could say this too about the show is all the dealers, aside for this one, all the dealers were willing to, negotiate and come down in price. And I feel like I got good deals.
I think so. Let's see. Mookie's asking what was my impression of show traffic. Given the circumstance of the Fanatics Fest being the same day, I was pleased to see that it was very busy. Try to go like when I was doing my own filming for my recap video, it was a challenge to get the footage of some of these tables like Stans or Ash or um, those guys always had their tables filled. But I mean, generally speaking, a lot of these guys were very busy. So the show traffic was it was good. I felt that the only downside is I felt like the aisles and the rows and the aisles were pretty narrow at times. But I mean, there's only so much you can do when you're filling in so many tables.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing. I mean, I'd rather have more tables and a little bit of traffic in the aisles. It was crowded at times, but I thought it was a good flow. I thought
yeah,
it was very busy, but not so much so that you couldn't shop and you felt inconvenienced, other than having to squeeze through some aisles here and there around people.
definitely. Let's see, our tables cheaper in the basement. I did not know this until I saw B Roth. Who was it? 2 days ago, and he told me that the table fee was the same whether you're upstairs or downstairs, which I thought that was kind of a unfortunate thing. I think the dealer that you bought those Wheaties off of, I think he mentioned that, but I can't remember. And is the rumors true that the Fanatics Fan Fest was the same day as the East Coast National because Fanatics tried and failed to buy the East Coast National? I don't know about the second part, but the first part, yeah, I mean, it was the same day. And if there was a drop for the East Coast National, I mean, I went on Saturday, which is typically the busiest day. I didn't notice it. I mean, there was a lot of people.
It was
But
crowded.
I think there's the advantage, the appeal of the East Coast National is that one, it's $15 versus like what $50 or $60 to get in, and two, if you're driving, you can park your car. Despite you pay 10-15 bucks for parking, but you can park your car easily instead of in the city where you can take the train, but if you do drive your car, you're going to be paying through the nose for parking there if you pay for a garage. So I think that's maybe partially the reason why people gravitated to the East Coast National. But why don't you, if you want to start showing some cards, man, so start showing the pickups.
All right, here's the biggest pickup of the show. Drum roll. Sammy Thunder, baby.
Ridiculous.
On a transagram.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, glad you didn't call it a Flair 91, but
Okay, so here is the Hank Greenberg, and I've been looking to add this card for a while. This has been something I've been looking for more recently, and I found a beauty, and it's just like perfectly centered.
yeah, that thing is amazing.
Yeah, and the price he had, I mean, it was cheaper than some beat up ones I was looking at. I have not found one at that price, or I would have probably already bought it. but a real sharp one. And it's a 2 here, but there's nothing on the front. There is a very faint, when I got it under the light and really looked at it, just a faint surface wrinkle on the back that you can't even see if to really look for it. But the front is clean, and it's a beauty. Diamond stars. I've been working to finish this set off. I only need a couple big cards. I need the Tony Lazzeri and the Jimmy Fox. I think I have all the other big ones from this set. Well, I'm real excited to get this one. I love this set. Love Hank Greenberg. Just a beauty. And then here is the Sporting Life Hugh Duffy. And of course, Hugh Duffy has the highest single season batting average in history. He batted .440 one year. Now, by 1910, when these came out, he was a manager. He stopped playing in, I believe, 1906. But one of the greatest players of the 19th century. And this is the envelope these came in.
That's
they
cool.
Came tucked in a newspaper in this envelope. Oop.
That's pretty cool that you have the envelope to go with it.
Yeah, I have a whole stack of these now.
Amazing.
I like the set. And, man, I think I got a steal on this freaking card. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the price on this. Now, he had higher graded ones, but this was the one I picked out. Just looking at the card, not looking at the holders initially. He had about 3 of them, and this was the lowest graded one he had, but it was the one that I was drawn to immediately, and I thought it looked nicer than the others, and it was a lot cheaper. And this 51 Burke Ross Stan Musial.
That is that you bought that card with separately, I believe. That is pretty amazing. Where do you buy? Do you remember?
Were with me? Weren't you with me when I bought this one?
I don't think I was.
Oh, okay. I thought you
were. I think you showed it to me when I think it was.
I couldn't believe how cheap I got this thing.
Do you remember who you bought it from by any chance?
No, I don't know the dealers' names, man.
I know.
I'm like zoned in on the cards.
Yeah.
Now I have this card and I have a sharp copy, but this thing is just dead nut centered. A beautiful example of the card. So I picked up another 65 Pete Rose.
I remember. Yep. Yeah, that one you bought off. What's his Mike?
This thing is super sharp. The only thing, it has a little bit of fading on the back. I don't know if that accounts for the grade. I don't know if you can even see that, but it's just a little, almost a discoloration on the back there. Which, heck, that could have come out of the pack that way. But a beautiful, beautiful example of that.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And then at the very end in the basement, I found myself 2 nice Wheaties cards. Bob Feller.
I thought this was a nice deal.
And Phil Rizzuto. Yeah, he was a nice dealer.
Yeah.
They were all nice dealers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they were all willing to maneuver.
Well, I think I'm actually publishing a video about card show experiences in a little bit that I pre-recorded, and it kind of ties into just the whole aspect of interacting with dealers, because I know, again, it can be a daunting experience, because maybe you're not comfortable with having those conversations, but just the way you were interacting with him, that dealer with the Wheaties, I don't even think you made an offer. I think he immediately said, "Hey, if you want both, I'll do this X, Y, and Z for both of them. And
Yeah.
I thought for the deal for both of them, I was like, wow, he took a good chunk off.
I like to kind of be silent and let them make an offer.
Yeah.
And I joke around with them a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun.
Yes. Yeah.
That 50, what was that? A 57 Roberto Clemente, that Kahns. I didn't know the exact pop off the top of my head, but they're low pop. All those Kahns are low pop, and that's I think that is his first one. I think 57 is his first one, if I'm not mistaken. So that his first Kahns, it's a pricey card, and I really wanted that. And if it was a little nicer, I would have gotten it. But it had several issues with it, and that's a lot of money to buy a card that has a bunch of issues on it. I don't care, what the card is or how hard it is to find. I still want a nice copy of it, a nice example. I mean, if it's the T206 Hannes Wagner, I'll put up with a lot of a lot of nicks or whatever on it. But yeah, it just wasn't speaking to me.
That's all right. I mean, do you remember? I know because I know in the movie or in the video we were talking about. I asked like how many have been graded, and at the time, yeah, we didn't. I could have looked it up, but I was in the middle of filming, so I didn't look it up. Did you find out how many were graded?
I never looked it up, but I know there aren't many. I don't really have to look it up. I know that's a scarce card.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All the Kahns are scarce, but especially the old ones like that. When they first came out, I believe the first ones came out in '56. I believe, and the last ones, they were. I think the last one was 1970. I want to say, but it was only Karl Yastrzemski. He was the only player in the last year they produced them, whatever year that was. 60, 69, 70. I think it was 70. Now the latter ones in the 60s are, you can find those a lot more affordably priced.
Yeah. They're cool cards. I mean, I know, yeah, as you mentioned, they've done various years of that set.
And they're regional. So the original ones were only Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And for instance, Frank Robinson won Rookie of the Year in 1956, but Topps didn't make a card of him. But he has a Kahns. So that's his true rookie card, that Kahns 56, Frank Robinson. And that's a pricey card and very hard to find. Very, very hard to find.
He has a bunch of other rookie cards.
Like
I think,
what?
Well, you said the Kahns was 56.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, in 57 they had the Swift meets. It's not technically a card per se, but it's kind of a cool collectible from that year of him.
Yeah. I think I'm not familiar with that, but Cincinnati and Pittsburgh had tons of regional issues.
They did.
But 50, I think that Kahns is the only one issued in 56 for him, unless there's one I don't know about. So the Kahns started with Pittsburgh and Cincy, and then they ventured off into some other teams. For instance, I know they did the Braves later on, and like I said, they had the Yaz one. I don't know what other teams off the top of my head. I know the Braves. So you won't find a lot of players with the Kahns, like you won't find Mantle or Mays.
So their Petty did some legwork. 41 with PSA, and it looks like 18 with SGC from that 57 Clemente. So that's pretty cool.
Petty, while you're at it, that is his first Kahns, right? Can you look that up? I believe it is. Could be wrong though.
I'll leave that to Petty if he wants to look it up. But and then Rick was saying the first Kahns was 55.
55, Rick? Okay.
That's what he's saying. And Mookie wants to know if I picked up anything. I did. Let's see. Yes. This will take a second. The top two cards in this row here on the top right. And then I have So I kind of took a little bit of little like the Mangini approach rubbed off on me a little bit, and it came, when a card speaks to you, it speaks to you. Um, Now, I'll just put myself here for a second. So this one has been on my list, I think, for a while, but it hasn't been high on my list. But I saw it on Ash's table and had a good price on it. You guys know, been on a Mathewson kick lately, trying to move over from Mays because I bought a lot of Mays stuff.
I
But
talked you into that. You almost walked away without it.
I almost did. Yeah, I almost did. But Ash, this was from Ash's table, and I did a very successful trade with him at the National, and I wanted to follow up to do another trade with him. So I like the way this one looked. He had two of them. The second one had kind of like a little bit of writing or a little mark on there or something like that. I couldn't tell where that was from, but I thought out of the two, this one was the better one.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, it's a stunning image. I love. I mean, I just anything.
I love that set.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names in it too. But this was at the end of Matty's career. He was fading. Wasn't as strong of a pitcher. I mean, he was a workhorse. Did really just pulled through. But I mean, at this point, I think in his career, he was more of like he was becoming more of the number two or number three pitcher. Amazingly, if you can imagine that. And then you have the American Caramel, Mathewson. This was in the, I guess you could sort of say, the prime of his career, 1909, which is when this card was, according to what I've looked up, this is when this card was made. On the back, baseball
You
series.
can't tell by the label on it?
Well, the label says
You
1909 to 1911, but when I did some legwork, I saw this was from 1909.
Yeah, so you're saying the grading companies don't know what they're talking about?
I just think they go with the range, and maybe on the new slab, if I send this in, they'll stick with the 1 year. But nevertheless, what's fun about this card is there are two versions. There are, you can tell, I'll go close on this, but you can sort of tell Mathewson has two T's, which is incorrectly spelled.
Oh man, now I got to look at mine.
I
I don't know which version I have. I didn't know there were two versions.
would say they're about equal in terms of pop. I think people, I don't know what people prefer. I don't mind mine being with two T's. Again, it's not a big deal to me. I just love the image. I kind of just, the green with the orange sky mixed with the blue sky at the, I always just kind of imagine like a Field of Dreams sort of thing going on with this, without the cornfields. But at some point, I will probably reholder this just because, I like, it's a little too busy up here. It's kind of taken over for me, and for consistency reasons.
Oh man, I was having a hard time finding mine. I thought Rick snaked
it. I'll swap you over. I need to find the last pickup that I made so you can show.
Okay, mine has his name. Oh, it does have two T's.
Oh, cool, man.
I never even noticed that.
Yeah.
I never even noticed that, and it's right on the label. And I never look at the label, so I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
I hate looking above the card.
I know.
I hate the red.
The red?
Yeah, I would never have a red label. That's why I hate PSA.
Here's the third card. This was
put a plain label, all white, and then I'll consider it.
This was the third card I picked up. This was a.
It's too girly.
Well, speaking of red,
this is what this is.
All right, let me switch back.
This looks like museum quality. This looks like some little cheerleader or something. This would appeal to 9-year-old girls. This holder. Like I don't know. It looks like Candy Striper, something like that.
Just kind of catching up. All right, so this was the third pickup that I made. I was not anticipating. I'm getting a text message. 1956. Kahn's Frank Robinson. The back is blank. Let me see if I can save this and I'll share it. Sorry, I got text messages on my computer, which is kind of cool. All right, I will share that shortly. Anyway, I can pick this up, the Fred Merkel portrait, and so the reason behind this is on a split decision, or not split, like a last minute decision. I decided I'm like, okay, the 68 Bazooka Seaver is not working out right now, and I thought a fun project I thought would be to collect all the Giants T206 portraits. I already have the Mathewson, so that covers the most expensive card. All the other cards, there's McGraw, and I think there's two McGraw portraits, and there's Markard, which will be pricey, but I figured it'd be a fun project to do, is to collect a lot of these players from the set. I got this, I thought, for a nice deal from a dealer who watches my channel, which is cool. So that was fun. Rick sent me that picture of the 56 Cons Frank Robinson. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Man, I forgot I got this Matt Kilroy.
I'll switch you over.
I was so excited when I got this.
I don't know if I remember that one. I didn't even know. I didn't see that one, man. That's a surprise to me. Is that when you picked it up at the show?
No. I had gotten this, I don't know, a few months ago? I was looking for this card for years. And I had save search on eBay. Nothing would ever pop up. I never saw it at the Nationals. Nothing. And one day I got an alert. Somebody listed it. And it was cheap too. And I grabbed it. He holds the all-time record for strikeouts in a season with something like 500 and something. Insane.
Cool. What set is that from?
Oh, that's the gold coin, 1887 gold coin.
Okay, 1887.
Yeah, this is the only and first card I've ever seen of him. I don't know if he has any others or not, but I have been looking for this player for years.
I'm going to share the screen.
Oh, wait a second. I got this at the National. I'm just going to share. No, it didn't pop. That's not the one. I got a different one that popped up. What was that one? I had another rare one that finally popped up. No, I found this at the National with the dealer where I got my rice sticks, Dean Brothers.
Well, we were talking about the Kahn's Wieners earlier. You mentioned the Frank Robinson 56. This is the picture that Rick sent me. Rocket Rick. I don't know. Rick, is this yours? I assume you took a picture of yours and sent it. So,
Rick, that's blank back?
That's what he said.
The ones I have all have backs on them, but I don't have any from that far back. Mine start. I might have some from I might have some Pirates that far back. I don't know the years off the top of my head. I have a stack of them, but all the ones I have, I believe, have the stats on the back. I believe.
There we go. So now we can get a look at it. Looks like Rick's desktop. That's definitely true.
Now, Rocket Rick, he had one the year after that as well, right? Where he's like, I think he's holding a bat downward, or he's looking down.
I'm going to pull up the trading card database website, which gives you all of his cards, or majority of them. They do a good job of showing that.
Frank Robinson was so good. When Branch Rickey was managing the Pirates when he was a young player, he called the owner or manager of Cincinnati, and he wanted to make a trade for Frank Robinson. And the guy told him, "I wouldn't trade you Frank Robinson for your entire team."
It's incredible. Sorry, my computer's running really slow for whatever reason. So,
Sammy, I'm a little upset while you're looking at that because I came home with $3, and I could have bought another card.
Oh, that's what everyone's talking about, man. The $3 man. I think you were mentioning the entire time prior is that you're just going to spend $3 at the show, and it's going to be a very boring movie. Clearly, that was
Well,
not the case.
I've made myself clear that I tell my wife I pay $3 for every card, and we have this agreement. I tell her that, and she pretends like she believes me.
Yeah, I was going to say, dude, has she caught on? Sounds like she did.
Oh, she's always caught on.
Yeah. Here's the Frank Robinson Cons 57. As you mentioned, he's holding a bat. You were right
Yeah,
about.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool card. There's a bunch of different. Let me go back here and see if I can.
There's a very pricey Oscar Robertson too.
Here's a cool looking
Basketball,
one.
basketball one.
This one's called the 1957 Ohio Cincinnati, or I don't know if it's a typo, but Cincinnati Redlegs, and this is like a team issued card. I'm guessing. Let me go to the overview.
Ohio, I believe
Standard Oil
that
of
was a
Ohio.
gas station. Yeah, that was a
Got it.
gas station.
Yeah, they issued a series of black and white photos of 18 Redleg players. Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when you get if you collect Cincinnati and Pirates, there are just near unlimited regional sets for those teams.
Yeah.
Just like there's a lot up in Milwaukee too. There that everywhere, but Cincinnati and Pittsburgh were such huge baseball teams. Such a huge fan base.
It's
You'll
pretty
find. I mean, obviously, you'll find them in every city, but so many pirate sets that I have, and I'm still discovering new ones. Like picture packs, team picture packs. I mean, I still see ones I never saw before because they issued multiple ones in the same years.
So you're asking about the Swift meet. I was bringing up the Swift meets earlier. This is what it is. You've seen these before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not so much a card, but it's just a cool looking collectible. And I've seen these. I actually saw a couple at Strongsville. There was a dealer who, he was also at the National too. He has cool stuff.
I
And
was eyeballing a Dale Long I wanted to get, but I just can't see paying a lot of money for that thing.
yeah, you're right about the Cincinnati Reds stuff. I mean, look at all these different 57 Frank Robinson cards you can get. A postcard, a J Publishing card. Um, and then you have the classic rookie, you have the 57 tops.
Yeah, and
And
then in '63, which would be a Pete Rose rookie, they made what is it? The Bauer. It was a little milk disc. Those are very scarce. But there's a Pete Rose,
oh,
what would
I
be
think
considered a rookie. I have the Frank Robinson and the Veda Pinson from the set.
Dom picked one of those up, I think, prior to coming to the National from the 63. It should be coming up shortly.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a tough one. Man, good for him. He must have found a good deal on it.
I think so. Unless, yeah, yep, there's this one right here, the French Bauer. He found it, I think,
French bound, yeah.
I want to say he found it on eBay, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, those are tough to find. I've been looking for a Pete Rose. I never stumbled on one, not a single time.
Don't know why I can't open this.
He's lucky he found that before me.
You have one though, right? Are you just
I
looking
don't
at?
have I don't have the Rose. I have the set represented. I have Frank Robinson and Veda Pinson,
Let me look at the overview of this
but I'd
set.
like to have the Rose.
So what is it? French Bauer is a what was it? A
I think it was Milk.
milk company,
I think.
and so they did the entire team.
I never really looked at the checklist. I presume
This is what I have here.
It was a local company.
Yeah, so you have.
It was only for the Reds.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. I gotta click on here. Yeah, there's the Pete Rose. I can't zoom in on it, but I can try. Yeah, it just comes up blurry. But anyway, cool pieces. Very cool
Yeah, I don't
piece.
know how they were distributed. Then they had these discs too. Do I still have that out? Let me see. Oh man, and I'm drawing a blank on what these are now. What were these on? These were on the bottom of cups. Are they 7-Eleven? I
Which
think
one?
they're 7-Eleven. They came on the bottom of cups, and you would take them off, and then they have a display, and you slide these in, kind of like the old photo albums that you would put the pictures in the corners.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
They had two slits, and you would slide these in, and there's a big display for them. And I'd love to get one of those. They ask a pretty penny for those, and all the ones I've seen are pretty beat. They're hard to keep in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the whole set of reds here, and they're pretty cool. So I'm trying to get one set from every one card rather from every set.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have this set represented,
George Foster.
and I have the French Bauer set represented.
You're on your way.
I try to get at least one card from as many sets as I can get.
Yeah, I mean
But
that's the
then, I keep adding to my sets and stuff. So I have no focus, Sammy, as you know.
I think I remember you mentioning at the show. You're like, oh, I hope I don't have this one already.
I thought I might have that Hugh Duffy, but it was so nice. I didn't care. I was getting it anyway.
So if you did have it, what would you do with the other one? You'd keep both?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I
Probably
know you
give
don't
it to
like.
Orlando like I did my Jimmy Fox Tattoo Orbit.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't sold any cards in a long time. I've given some away. I've given away some nice cards. But I wouldn't. If I did, I mean, I'd probably, seeing you go to the show and trade cards. Like I don't do that. I should. So
It's to each their own.
that's probably what I would do next time. Because I'm just gonna, if I sell it, I'm just gonna, pay seller fees or whatever, and I'm gonna turn around and buy another card with that money,
Right.
and I'd probably get more if I traded it, at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
and get a card that I like. Because if I sell it, I'm just gonna spend the money on another card anyway.
That's yeah.
So I
I mean,
would probably trade it if I had to. Depending, these have different backs. There's blue and black, so it's possible. Like sometimes I'll buy one with the idea I'll trade the other one away, and then I discover that it's a different version, and then I have to keep it.
mm-hmm.
I did that with a Jimmy Fox Warch cigar, and when I got them and I was looking at them together, they were clearly two different versions. So I found out the one I was going to trade away is a more rare version.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have two because I can't bring myself to part with it.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, for me, that was a big part of making the trade for the two Mathewsons was to be able to minimize the amount of money that I needed to spend for these. And I've never been one to do trades with dealers. I've always felt like if I trade something away, I'm going to end up on the worst spot possible. But uh, I did a trade with Ash at the National, and then the trade at the trade at the East Coast National. I thought
Well, the thing,
the way I see it, those four cards that I traded away, I can always buy again.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
the Polo Grounds card, I mean, chances are I could probably find another one. The American Caramel one might be a challenge to find that one.
Yeah,
the
in the
way,
day, in the modern era with comps, it's easy to look up comps, and if you're doing comp to comp, it's pretty easy to come up with an fair and equitable trade, right? Like I think your trade was super fair and
yeah,
very transparent.
hmm
And the dealers will let you know, like, hey, this is hard to move. I either don't want it or I can't give you the comp
which
on it or whatever, and then it's up to you.
which
But
is what
I
happened.
think it's
Yeah,
way more equitable today than ever because of that. And see, I'm not one. I can really only get rid of doubles, and sometimes that even bothers me. So I'm not one to trade cards I don't have doubles of.
and that's
I'm a weirdo.
that's okay. I mean, that's that's your preference, which is perfectly respectable. But just want to mention, ask the chat if there's any other questions pertaining to the video or any questions at all. Otherwise, we'll probably be calling it a night here. But does anyone else have any questions, or do you have any questions, John?
Me?
Would
Are you
you go?
asking me?
Yeah, would you go? Would you go? Let's say, would you go to the? Would you ever go to the Philly show eventually to try that one out?
I actually would love to go to the Philly show. I would love to go, and I'm sure there's lots of people I know in that area that would be at that show.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to go for a long time. It's just like any show that's within, I don't know, 5, 6 hours of a drive, I'll go to no problem. But when it comes to a real long drive or flying, then I don't know. I'm not as excited about it.
yeah, I hear you.
I,
It's understandable.
especially like going to the national. Like I take so much stuff with me, and then I come home with so much stuff that I buy, and all the gifts and freebies and things people give you and everything, and taking
Yeah,
up
well,
things to give away. It, it's such a pain to fly and have a limited space in your suitcase. Last time, well, not last time in Chicago, I ran out of space, man, because I had my thing packed to the hilt. I had my cards. I was bringing some cards to get re-slabbed,
mhm.
and of course, they ran out of space on the plane, and they wanted to check my bag, and I was freaking out because I don't want my cards checked.
No, no,
So I'm sitting there. I'm like, "You're gonna have to give me a minute." And I opened up my suitcase and I pulled them all out and started shoving them in pockets because I'm not putting them on there in case my luggage gets lost or something.
yeah,
I just hate flying with cards. And then coming through security, I'm always nervous. So anyway, when I got there and bought everything and got all the stuff from the national, I couldn't fit anything. I couldn't even close my damn suitcase. So I ran over. We had a mall right before behind our hotel, so I ran over there to get like a backpack or something to take with me. And they had this deal. It was two fantastic Under Armour backpacks for $35, $30 or 35, and it was buy one get one free.
nice.
So when I picked out the one I wanted, I went up and I'm checking out, and the guy checking me out, he's like, these are 2 for 1. You could go get another one. And I'm like, no, I can't. Like it defeats. I can't. I can't even fit my stuff. Like where am I going to put that now? Because the whole point was to have something else to take with me. And I guess I could have got one and just gave it away. But anyway, I turned down the free one, and I was loaded up coming home. So
Orlando wants to know, how is the boat ride past the Statue of Liberty?
it was awesome. It's the closest I've ever been to the Statue of Liberty.
And Andrew's asking, I guess for me, this one: are there other movies in the works? Maybe each of the four collectors has their own. This whole thing being like a movie, like a themed movie, was like last minute, and because originally it was just going to be a video submitted of John just checking out tables and making purchases, but yeah, I ran it by everybody in the four collectors group to see what they thought about it. It's ridiculous, but it's entertaining. So that was my
Yeah,
way.
we had fun with that one, Sammy. But
Yeah,
we could do something on a bigger scale. You could certainly do something on a bigger scale, multiple people, or
well, that's where I don't. I guess I'll talk to Theo, John, and Pepino and see what they want to muster up for the next one. But I think that's definitely in the works. All right, man. Well, I think we covered a lot, and it was a lot of fun. And if you decide to go to the Philly show, to, um, you know, do a part two, perhaps. Maybe that one.
when is that? When is that?
It's coming up soon. It's in a few weeks, September. Let me look it up. It is September 20th through the 22nd.
September 20th. Okay.
Yeah, so that's when it's gonna happen. I know. I don't know. Mookie's in the chat. I don't know if Mookie is interested in going again with his buddy Pete. I generally try to go with the group if I can. I always like driving with the group more so than myself, but that'll be a conversation for them at a later time. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining. We had a good turnout, like 35, 40 people showed up, so that's pretty cool. And again, yeah, thank you, John, for hanging out, and it was cool to see you buy cards and to kind of watch how you interact with dealers. So that was a cool thing.
Never even thought about it, but I want to thank you for escorting me around and
Yeah,
getting
man.
me there and
Yeah,
explaining what to do.
yeah,
Because getting around New York City, if you're not familiar, is a little overwhelming initially.
absolutely.
But I did real good. I memorized all the routes from my from my family who I was staying with. They were telling me, so I had it all memorized there and back. And then when I got to Grand Central Station, I didn't realize I had to buy a train ticket there, but it was a piece of cake
Yeah,
because you're like go buy a ticket, and I'm like, well, where do I do that? Because I didn't see anybody around, and I
yeah.
didn't notice those kiosks, but everything was a piece of cake. But
Hmm.
it's like even to get there, I wouldn't have known what ticket to buy,
Right.
and I wouldn't have known it was off peak. Like I would have had no idea,
Yeah,
how to do that.
I saved you money, man.
What's that?
I saved you money that way. Otherwise, you would, if you chose peak, you would have paid extra.
Well, how would I know?
During it's all peak hours or during work, like rush hour.
Oh, okay.
So that's when they charge more. But cool, man. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for doing this. And again, thank you everybody for jumping on to hang out with us. So tomorrow is the cardboard and cold ones. I believe we have a guest. Jason will fill me in probably. So look out for that. Have a great night, everybody. See you soon.
See ya.